A month ago, Donald Trump posted a picture online bragging that he had all the cards in the Middle East. He thought he had a master plan locked in, but that geopolitical strategy collapsed almost overnight. His goal was a new agreement with Iran to guarantee safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz. When you look at the sheer size of the oil tankers moving through that choke point, you see why keeping it open is vital for the global economy. On June 1st, the plan imploded. Iran abruptly announced it was shutting down every single diplomatic communication channel with the United States. This chart tracks U.S. domestic gas prices, showing exactly why the White House panicked. We see an aggressive spike from a pre-war baseline of $2.50, surging past $4.50 right as voters head into midterms. Falling poll numbers and angry voters put the president in a bind. To survive politically at home, Trump needed a foreign policy win to offset the economic pain, forcing him to move past traditional diplomacy. Iran laid out a strict ultimatum. They told Washington they would not return to the negotiating table until Israel halted all military strikes inside Lebanon. Trump immediately picked up the phone and dialed Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. According to reports, the call quickly devolved into an explias-laden screaming match. Trump applied raw political leverage, reminding Netanyahu that he would likely be in jail without the shield of U.S. protection. The threat worked, at least partially. Netanyahu caved to the pressure and agreed to pull back his forces from bombarding the capital city. Millions of people live in the densely populated urban center of Beirut, and for the moment, the skyline was spared. Israel, however, viewed this ceasefire as a dangerous compromise. To the Israeli military, Hezbollah is an existential threat operating right on their northern border, and they believe sustained military force is the only way to neutralize them. Israel found a loophole. Treating Beirut as a safe zone, they drew a boundary at the Litani River, keeping the south an active combat zone. Troops pushed deep into that territory, fighting straight to the coordinates of Beaufort Castle. For the first time in 26 years, the Israeli flag was hoisted over the castle's ruins. By holding this strategic peak overlooking the Litani Valley, the IDF signaled that they had no intention of leaving the southern front, regardless of the ceasefire in the north. Sparing Beirut while capturing southern strongholds provides a temporary diplomatic shield for the White House, but it does little to address the reality of the ground invasion. With direct talks frozen, you need a middleman. For decades, the Gulf state of Oman has played that role, acting as the quiet, neutral mediator brokering back-channel communications between Washington and Tehran. But Washington's trust in Oman suddenly fractured. U.S. officials accused the country of being too lenient on Iran. The breaking point hit when Omani diplomats prematurely announced that a nuclear deal was right around the corner. Trump reacted by turning his aggression directly onto the mediator. His administration threatened Oman with severe economic sanctions, and Trump explicitly floated the idea of launching direct military strikes against Omani ports. The core demand driving these threats was simple. The United States was trying to force a historically neutral nation to abandon diplomacy and pick a side. By threatening the region's primary mediator, the administration risks severing its only functional back-channel to Tehran at the exact moment they need it to close the deal. Oman responded by leaning into their legal rights. Rather than a direct toll on shipping, they are exploring environmental fees, a classification allowed under international maritime law. It's a move that protects their sovereignty while making a direct U.S. military response legally difficult to justify. Trump also faces a closing window at home. With the midterms just 55 days away, his standing within his own party is slipping due to rising costs. Without a unified front in Congress or the Senate, launching a new military campaign against a neutral neighbor would risk turning him into a lame duck president before the first vote is even cast. So we are left with a highly fragile standoff. A major capital evolves destruction for now, but Israel still demands absolute border security, and Iran still sets rigid regional conditions. Screaming at allies over the phone and threatening neutral mediators can force a temporary pause in the violence. But treating foreign policy as a raw, transactional leverage game cannot actually resolve a conflict that has been defined by blood and geography for 9 centuries.